Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Friday, August 26, 2022. This is my post-market wrap-up. What a lovely day. Absolutely, people. Look, this guy right here, it's just too much. And I mean that. Statements today that were made by the Federal Reserve Chairman himself should anger you as much as they have angered me today. And what should get you even more angry? Look, the Federal Reserve is responsible for the monetary policy of the United States, if not the entire world, because the US dollar remains the world reserve currency. The Federal Reserve is responsible for creating and continuing to inflate surging inflation with literally no end in sight. They are the responsible party. Meanwhile, who's paying for it? You are. I am. Everybody is. As I have said a million times, this organization, public enemy number one, the Federal Reserve, will never, ever be held to account. No one will be asked to resign. Could you imagine, for example, if we had a real president instead of a puppet? Okay, and he witnessed, which he clearly is, the suffering that is going on right now to the American people. Oh no, I forgot. He said the American people are doing fantastic and our economy is booming. Couldn't be doing any better right now. Oh, and inflation is zero. Oh, that's the reason why he will not ask the Fed chairperson to step down. Obviously, our current president is a brain-dead, moronic, mummified Frankenstein puppet. That's all it is, okay? And he will never call out the Federal Reserve or point their finger. No world leader will ever point their finger at a central bank. No. Either they're not doing enough to inflate the stock market and everything else, or whatever. It's just the way it's going to go. Now, again, this is what Powell said today. I want you to pay attention to this. Quote, bringing down inflation will cause pain for U.S. households and U.S. businesses. So let's see. What he's trying to tell you is lowering the cost of living is going to bring pain to U.S. households and U.S. businesses. You see, look, this is a little slip of the tongue here in Greg Mannarino's opinion. So how? Explain this to me. If the cost of living, because the Fed really wants to fight inflation, you know that because he said it. Okay. If the Federal Reserve is really going to bring down the cost of living, how is it that U.S. households, according to him, quote, are going to suffer moving forward, and U.S. businesses are going to suffer moving forward? I'm going to tell you why. Because he knows, as well as you do, and I do, that we haven't seen anything yet with regard to inflation. Inflation is going to continue to skyrocket, despite the fact that the mainstream media is going to try to fist feed you like you have no idea that we are now peaking again. Inflation is peaking. It's peaking now. It's not going to get worse. It's peaking. You can't make this stuff up if you try to. And try to make that up. I mean, honestly, bringing down inflation will cause pain for U.S. households and U.S. businesses. How does that work? People are suffering right now because they can't deal with surging inflation. They can't pay their bills because of surging inflation here. But bringing it down is going to cause people pain? Do you see what I'm talking about here? I hope you do. And then he goes on to say that the Fed will raise rates until the job is done. Now, he's talking about raising that federal funds rate, 50 basis points here, 75 basis points here, and that's really going to make a tremendous difference with regard to inflation. How about no? What we have here, all right, is some kind of twisted mechanism between the current administration that's doing nothing but create more reasons to pull cash into the now, and the Fed couldn't be happier about it. How about this? Imagine if the Federal Reserve Chairman were to say, hold on a minute. Maybe if we stop printing cash out of thin air, if we stop adding digits to a screen, maybe that would stop inflation. But no, he can't tell you that. He's going to say that the middle class, who's the real people who are going to suffer here, are going to suffer moving forward. And U.S. small businesses are being wiped out. Oh, yes, the stock market took a hit today. Big freaking deal, okay? You know who's really getting hurt? U.S. small businesses. They're being systematically wiped out one by one by one by one, along with the layoffs that are coming. This entire thing is going to get much, much worse. People, think about this. We have clearly a global economy in free fall. Couldn't really honestly get much worse, but it will. Don't listen to me. Listen to Fed Chair Powell, who's telling you that you're going to suffer. U.S. households and businesses are going to suffer. Don't listen to Greg Mannarino. Listen to that freak over there. Okay, it's going to get much worse. There's no doubt about it. And in no way is inflation peaking. So we right now are in an environment where the economy is dead. Okay, and the Federal Reserve is supposedly tightening monetary policy. They cannot stop inflation. Again, once the floodgates are open, and they're open now, and we are just in the early stages of this. Again, since 2008, the Federal Reserve has been on a mission, like every other world central bank, to inflate, to buy it all, to prop up global stock markets here. So you have all these trillions upon trillions upon trillions of fiat bills floating around. Now they're starting to chase the same, actually less amount of goods here. And now we're seeing prices surge. Okay, but that's the direct result of the absolute strength, not the relative strength, the absolute strength of currencies themselves falling off of a cliff as central banks continue to destroy their own currencies to bring in a new system, which you are all well aware of. I told you about this since I don't know how long. You see, they think that you and I are retarded. See, you and I are not retarded. We know exactly what's going on here. And the game that is being played right now between the current administration here in the United States and the central bank is sincerely unfreaking believable. And people are suffering, and they're going to suffer much, much more moving forward here. And oh yeah, he's pushing the fake raising the federal funds rate narrative like it's going to do it. It hasn't done a thing. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome? That's actually not the definition, but that's the one most people think is. But going by that, okay, the Federal Reserve has been raising the federal funds rate over the past several FOMC meetings. And what has inflation done? Well, it certainly hasn't peaked, although that's what the mainstream propaganda wants you to believe. Can't make this shit up. It's absolutely freaking impossible to do. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, I don't know. Look, our economy continues to crater. It's going to crater faster as inflation continues to surge, as the layoffs are going to start picking up big time. That's the real reason. You see, the little slip of the tongue here from Powell saying that bringing down inflation, it's going to cause U.S. households and businesses to suffer. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. How about no? Because if the cost of living was dropping, everyone's life would be better. He's fully planning on continuing to inflate. He's fully planning on the current administration to come up with other reasons to pull cash into the now and go right to the Federal Reserve and ask them to fund it. That's what's going on here, but you're not allowed to know about it. Can't make any of this stuff up. So, stocks got hit pretty hard today. 10-year yield did fall. We did not break below 3%, although we came damn close, 3.02. Okay. Dollar knee-jerk higher on the back of this. Gold and silver got hit. Cryptocurrency got hit. Crude oil put on a fractional gain. That's where we are today, people. And I sincerely don't believe that anybody can make this stuff up. We are living in a twisted world that is so upside down that nothing makes sense anymore. Other than, if you realize, though, what's actually happening, then it all makes sense. If you realize that the central banks are colluding with their respective governments across the globe here, central banks are the government here, Their mission is clear: to buy it all, to be the lenders and buyers of last resort, to continue to inflate. That's it. Once you realize that, and the bigger picture is a wipeout of an entire class of people and a massive reduction in the global population, then you will realize that what you're seeing is, it completely makes sense if you understand what I just said to you. Okay, look, that's about it for now today. All right, people, look, share this video. Please comment. Let me know what you think is going on. Now, before I let you go, it is Friday. I don't want you to forget about the things I spoke about in this video. Generally, I tell you to forget about it and put it behind you. No, this should be at the forefront of your mind, because you're being raped, literally, systematically, incrementally, destroyed, raped, and everything else you can possibly think about. You're being eliminated, exterminated, if you're a member of the middle class here. And whatever pressure you might feel, don't believe Greg Mannarino. Believe Fed Chair Powell. He's saying it's going to get much worse. But I want you to bring it in. Bring it in. No one's looking, all right? You ready? Love each other. Love each other. Care about each other. Be charitable, people. If we start living by these three things, we're all going to be better off here. And we're going to need each other moving forward. And again, don't believe me. Believe Powell. He's telling you, you are going to suffer. Imagine that. Imagine a Fed chairperson saying that, and the President of the United States isn't out right now on national television saying, hold on a minute, I'm going to ask this man to resign because the Federal Reserve is the one responsible for the monetary policy, and they're the ones that caused the problem and are continuing to do so. But you see, we don't have a real president. We have no representation anymore. No taxation without representation. We shouldn't be paying taxes or anything else. We have nothing anymore here. Nothing in this thing that's going on around us. All right, people, look, this guy, I mean this, loves you a lot. Share the video, comment, let me know what you think. I will see all of you Sunday for my markets to look ahead. It's just going to be lovely, and I'm just out of here.